The town had no center anymore. Its square was rubble, its houses broken shells, its people shadows clinging to ruins. Yet when Riku and the Kitsune staggered back, the survivors followed, as though gravity itself pulled them behind him. By torchlight, they gathered. The smoke still hung heavy, but the mist had receded enough that stars watched from above, cold and distant. Riku sat slumped against the wall of a shattered temple. His fists were wrapped in strips of cloth, but the glow beneath them seeped through like molten cracks in stone. His body throbbed with pain, every breath sharp, every heartbeat echoing with the ember's rhythm. The Kitsune crouched at his side, her tails curled tightly around herself. Her flame, once radiant, flickered faintly. To the townsfolk, she looked less like a goddess now, and more like a fading lantern. The whispers began with one man. He carries it still. Then another. We should burn him before it takes us too. Others hissed back. He destroyed the monster. Without him, we'd be ash. He saved us. The circle of firelight filled with voices, half reverence, half fear. Riku listened, eyes closed, the ember pulsing beneath his skin with every word. They're right, the ember whispered inside him, smooth and cruel. You are the flame now. They follow you, worship you, fear you, because they know the truth. Riku's hands twitched. His fists burned hotter. The Kitsune noticed. She leaned in, voice urgent but low. Don't listen. Their fear is not your burden. You are not the ember. But the ember's laughter filled his skull. She is fading. She cannot protect you much longer. Without me, you will lose everything. With me, you will never fall again. Night fell deeper. As the survivors argued, the tension broke. A group of men, hardened by hunger and loss, stepped forward carrying stones and broken spears. Their eyes burned, not with reverence, but with terror. Monster. The ember inside him surged, veins blazing bright through his skin. His fists clenched, fire cracking across the cloth bindings. His voice came out deeper, harsher, almost not his own. Enough. The ground shuddered beneath him as he rose. The men froze, caught between courage and terror. Riku's gaze cut through them like flame. I bled for you. I burned for you. And still you want me, Ash. His fists flared, sparks dripping like molten tears. The Kitsune spun, reaching for him. Riku, stop. This isn't you. For a heartbeat, it seemed he would strike, that his rage would consume them all. The mob cowered, waiting for judgment, and then he drove his glowing fists into the ground instead. The earth split, fire bursting upward in a pillar that seared the night sky. Sparks rained down, lighting the mob's faces with fear. Riku's voice thundered, I am not your god. I am not your curse. But if you try to kill me again, I will end you before the ember ever could. The silence that followed was absolute. The men dropped their weapons. The mob scattered. Some fled, some wept, some whispered prayers to stars that had never answered before. When it was over, Riku collapsed back against the wall, trembling, fists smoking. The Kitsune knelt beside him, her face pale with exhaustion and worry. You cannot do this again, she said softly. Every time you call on it, it takes more of you. Riku's eyes flickered ember red before dimming again. He whispered hoarsely, I don't know if I'm fighting it or feeding it. His bloodied hands shook, the ember pulsing faintly in his chest, while, in the ashes outside the town, something small and glowing began to crawl. The night after the mob broke, the town tried to sleep. Fires burned low in the ruins, and for the first time in years the mist lay thin, almost fragile. Survivors huddled together, whispering about dawn. But the ashes did not rest. Beyond the broken forest, where the war spirit had fallen, the ember's residue stirred. From the blackened crater, glowing cracks spread like veins across the earth. Each spark hissed, pulsing faintly, like a dying heartbeat, and then they began to crawl. Small shapes, no bigger than children at first, dragged themselves from the ash. Their bodies were sculpted from charred stone and ember glow, their mouths gaping, their eyes hollow sparks. They moved without sound, except for the hiss of smoldering footsteps. The ember had not died. It had scattered. Riku woke with a jolt. His chest burned as though fire clawed from the inside. His hands trembled, glowing faintly even in the dark. The Kitsune stirred beside him, ears twitching. What is it? She whispered. Riku's breath came sharp. They're coming. Before she could answer, a scream cut through the night. The survivors jolted awake, torches flaring as shapes lurched into the edge of town, shadows of ember and ash. The creatures moved fast, their bodies breaking and reforming with every step, claws dragging sparks across stone. The crowd panicked. Some fled into the ruins, others raised broken weapons. But for every ember spawn cut down, two more crawled from the smoke. Riku staggered to his feet, fists already burning. The Kitsune caught his arm. If you fight them like this, the ember will take more of you. His voice broke with fury. And if I don't, they'll all burn anyway. He shoved forward into the fray. The first ember spawn lunged. Riku met it head-on, his fist shattering its skull into sparks. The explosion lit the ruins, embers scattering like fireflies, but before the light died, 2 more rose from the ashes, crawling over their fallen. The Kitsune leapt into the chaos, her tails whipping flame through the night. Foxfire seared the creatures into cinders, her movements fierce but heavy, each strike costing her more than the last. "Riku," she called. "They're not stopping." Riku's fists blazed hotter, brighter, until the cloth wrappings burned away. His rage carried him, blow after blow splitting the ash spawn apart. But as his strikes grew stronger, so did the ember's voice. "Good. Burn them. Burn everything. The fire is yours." Riku roared, smashing another to pieces. His veins glowed, his eyes blazed. He looked less like a man and more like the very monster he had slain. The survivors watched in terror. Some whispered prayers of gratitude, others whispered, "He is the ember. He fights like the beast." The line between savior and curse blurred with every blow. By dawn, the ground was littered with ash and broken stone. The ember spawn lay defeated, their bodies crumbling into dust. But the victory was hollow. Riku collapsed to his knees, chest burning, fists smoking. His skin was cracked with ember light, glowing through like molten stone. The Kitsune rushed to him, her tails wrapping around his shaking body. She pressed her forehead against his, whispering desperately, "You're still you. Hold on to that, please." Riku's voice was a hoarse whisper, eyes flickering ember red. "They're not gone. This isn't over. This isn't over." And in the crater where the war spirit had fallen, something vast stirred beneath the ash, its glow pulsing like a buried heart, waiting to rise.